It was 20 April 2025. It was exactly 1 week before I would get to see my results for the spring semester. And you know what was in my mind back then? I'm telling you, I couldn't go to sleep in the evening because I always had this thought in my mind that I'm not gonna make it, I'm gonna fail, I'm not gonna get that 4.0 GPA that I worked so hard for. And everything that I did is gonna be in vain and nothing's gonna work out. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. But this was like the whole week for me. Anxiety, fears, and to be honest, I wasn't experienced. I didn't know what to expect and I was very, very scared. Now, 10 days later, I think it was 30 April, it was around afternoon, I go to my desk and I know that's the day that I find out. I go to my desk, I sit down and same scenario. Same emotions. I'm very scared. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I open the laptop and I log in. I go to the grades. I want to see the grades. And guess what? I got a 4.0 GPA. It felt like a stone was taken off from my heart. It felt like all the weight was taken off. I felt easier. I felt more confident. I felt more sharp and more strong, and it felt amazing. I'm telling you, that's the feeling that you're gonna get when you get that 4.0 GPA. When you finally make sure that no matter what happens, you're gonna stick to your plan, you're gonna stick to your goals, and you're gonna get that 4.0 GPA this semester in the fall of 2025. And now I'm gonna help you do that. Now let me finish the story. So I got that 4.0 GPA and I was so happy for myself. I was so more confident in myself. All the fears, all the bad self-talk in my head was gone. You know why? Because I proved to myself that I'm capable of achieving my goals. Of course, my family was very excited for me, very happy. They even bought me a cake to celebrate this. And I'm telling you, it was amazing. It was great. But you know why? Because of a full semester of hard work and dedication. Now, when I say hard work, I don't mean studying 12 hours a day. No, that's not what I mean. I don't think that's hard work. I think that's just, I don't know, crazy work. I only studied 2-3 hours a day. But when I studied, I made sure that I gave my best. I made sure that I was structured and I stick to the plan. No matter what, I did my best to stick to the plan even in the worst days. Now I'm telling you, this semester, and I'm talking about the spring semester, when I got a 4.0 GPA, it was amazing. Hard work, dedication, but in the end it was amazing and it paid off. But now, let me tell you something, it wasn't always like this. I wasn't always like this. Just half a year later, in my first semester, I failed to get a 4.0 GPA and I made tons of mistakes. Remember when I told you that in my head I had that negative self-talk and I didn't believe in myself? That's the cause. The first semester, because I screwed up very hard. I failed very hard and I didn't have the level required to understand what I did wrong and what I need to improve. I didn't have trust in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I made bad choices and those bad choices made me fail and not get a 4.0 GPA in my first semester. Look at me now. I'll get a 4.0 GPA also this semester. You know why? Because I learned my lessons and I want to share them with you in today's video. I'm going to help you achieve that 4.0 GPA while studying 2-3 hours a day and having time to build skills in real life. Because 4.0 GPA should not be the goal. 4.0 GPA should be the minimum that you have to have for a great life. In my first semester, I didn't have time to spend with friends. I didn't have time to network. I didn't have energy to do all these things. You know why? Because in my bio class, I used to sleep in the middle of a class because it was very boring, because I was tired because of the studying that I would do, and still failed. Still didn't get that 4.0 GPA. No matter what I did, because I didn't understand 3 simple things that I'm going to share with you in this video, because I don't want you to make those same mistakes. I want you to take that 4.0 GPA this semester, but also have time to develop your life, your skills, so you can have an amazing career, an amazing life, and become great, because I want you to be great all of the time. So the first thing I want to tell you, and I genuinely believe that not a lot of people know about this, and not a lot of people speak about this. The first thing is mindset. Of course, take a second, alright, and think about it. You heard this thousands of times. Every book, every podcast, everything that you always look up to starts with mindset. You heard this, you know this, but still you didn't apply this in your day-to-day life. Because if you would apply this, you wouldn't be here today. So I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to tell you, alright? I want you, when you set the goal to have a 4.0 GPA, I want you to not do the same mistakes as I did. I want you to believe in yourself. You know why? Because it's very important. If you believe in something, that's the first step to achieve it. If you don't believe in it, you're not going to achieve it. That's certainly going to happen. You're not going to achieve it if you don't believe in yourself. And I think in today's world, there's not enough emphasis put on believing yourself, alright? People always speak about humility, about modesty, about having a low view of yourself, about not having a big ego and all that stuff, but truly that makes everything worse. The last thing that you should do is to have a low view of yourself, because you're gonna become a nice guy who doesn't wanna make anyone upset and who doesn't wanna interrupt anything and who's never gonna believe in himself because he always thinks he's there to serve other people. And that may be true, but you gotta serve with confidence. You gotta serve when you want, how you want, not based on other people's rules. Modesty and humility doesn't mean you have to have a low view of yourself. Doesn't mean you have to hide your achievements and only focus on how bad of a person you are. Only focus on your failures. That's not gonna make you successful. I'm telling you, first thing that you need to have in your mind is that if you wanna become champion, if you wanna have that 4.0 GPA, you have to act and think like a student who has that 4.0 GPA, because that's the only way you're gonna ever achieve it. And I mentioned you before the story of my bio class, where I used to sleep during the class. You know why? Because after I had those bad grades, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe it's possible to change back, get that A. I didn't believe, and guess what happened? I got a B, and my GPA was killed because I didn't believe in myself. I don't want you to make the same mistakes, and I want you to promise me, look at me right now, look in my eyes. I want you to promise me that no matter what, for the rest of your life, you will believe in yourself, because you can become great only if you believe you can become great. I want to be great all of the time, and this is the same thing that I want to instill in you. I want to instigate you to believe in yourself. I want to instigate you to believe in your dreams. I want to instigate you to believe that's possible to have a 4.0 GPA. You, person who's looking right now to me, maybe you didn't achieve your goals in the past. Maybe there's no reason to believe that you can do that. But I trust you because I trust myself. I know what works because I've done it, and I know it's gonna work for anyone else that follows. And I'm gonna make sure that you follow this because I made you promise. I made you promise that you're gonna believe in yourself. Maybe right now you have low grades. Maybe right now your life is not interesting, and maybe you feel like a piece of shit. That's alright. Everyone's been there, but you know what? You can get out. The person that you are right now can become great, can become more skilled, more experienced, more advanced, only if you act like that person, if you think like that person. If you wanna become like a champion, you need to first train like a champion and think like a champion. If you wanna perform as a 4.0 student, you can't learn like a 3.0 student. It's never gonna work. You have to train, learn, and think like a 4.0 student. And that's the one thing that I want you to take from this point, is believing in yourself, believe that you can achieve whatever you want to accomplish. The second thing that I did and I want you to do is to make a plan and be consistent. I want you to create a schedule. So in this schedule, you're gonna have your morning routine when you wake up, your learning blocks of time. So that's the period where you learn. Usually for me, it was 2-3 hours early in the morning. So I had my 15 minutes morning routine, then 2-3 hours block of hard work, block of learning, preparing for exams or papers that I did have. Now the most important thing when it comes to making a plan is sticking to the plan. So I have this technique that I follow even now, every single day. It's called make it so that even in your worst day, you can still follow through. Do the checkbox every single day. I call this the 1 second rule. So for example, I told you, let's say one day you have fever, well, you can still do a push-up. But guess what? You're gonna get down to do one push-up, you're not gonna stop because you're not a pussy. And as James Clear says in his book Atomic Habits, one day missed is a mistake, 2 days missed is where you create a new habit. So that's why I want to make sure that you're gonna stick to the plan. Even if you have like a bad day, you can still go through. Now, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard. But guess what? It's supposed to be hard. You know why? Because that's how you achieve great stuff. If it's easy, it's not gonna be great. If it's hard, it's gonna be great. Be great all of the time. Sometimes you're gonna be bored. Sometimes you're gonna suffer. Guess what? You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to be bored. But you're supposed to also find a solution, and you can make your life more enjoyable. So, if you found this very interesting, there's something that I want to tell you. I have a community, I have a program, first link in the description, where I help people. And the first 7 members are gonna be founding members. You're gonna get 1 month of coaching from me. And obviously, because you are with me at first, you're gonna get more stuff. You're gonna get answers to your questions more often because you were with me at the beginning, and I want to help you. So check the first link in the description, and I'll see you inside. The third thing that I want to tell you, and I promise you, this is gonna be such a big advantage because no one really speaks about this. No one actually tells you this. I'm telling you, every single thing in your life works. And let me tell you why. Let's say you're gonna have an exam today, there's two halves of your brain. There's always this. Don't lie to me and say this because I know it's true. One brain, one half of the brain tells you go study, the other tells you go and have fun. And this is war. You know why? Because war is two opposing sides wanting the same thing. Two opposing sides, your half brains. One of them is trying to get you to have fun and not prepare for the test that you're gonna have tomorrow. And the other half is trying to get you to study and become more prepared. So I'm telling you, competition is inside of you. Everything that you do, every choice is a war. And you need to understand this. You need to get this straight in your mind. The goal that you have, it's gonna require you to fight a lot of battles. If you wanna go to the gym, you're gonna have to fight a battle every single day when you get out that door and you go to the gym instead of staying home and sleeping or doing something else that's not going to help you. The same thing goes with learning, with getting a 4.0 GPA. I mentioned that you're going to study 2-3 hours every single day. It's going to be hard. You're going to suffer. You're going to have a war in your mind that's going to tell you. One side is going to tell you, you're good enough. All right, go watch some Netflix. The other half is going to tell you, you need to learn more. You need to become better. You need to become more sharp, more advanced, and you have to get that 4.0 GPA now, this semester. So I want you to train yourself to be tough. These small wars that you're going to have in yourself, these are the training ground. And I want you to be tough. I want you to make sure that you're going to build discipline and you're going to build a person that you're proud of. Now, this not only applies to school, applies to gym, applies to your career, to your craft, whatever. There is no limit. Training to become great is never the wrong answers. And I need you to understand this. Even when you sleep, you train to have a better sleep hygiene, to sleep more rested, to have a better sleep score. When you go and network with people, you train yourself, you train your social skills, you train your communication skills. There's always going to be a need for training, and it's up to you to make this decision. Be conscious about it, be intentional. Train every single day. Don't let the other half of you drag you down. Don't let it, because you're not going to become as great as you want to be. Train yourself to learn better, train yourself to sleep better, to eat better, to get better decisions in your life. You're always going to need training, and training is never the wrong answer. Now, I want to thank you that you watched this video until now, till here. And that takes a lot of intentionality, a lot of self-respect. And I'm glad that but I'm telling you, it's very, very important. You gotta make sure that you apply the action points that I'm going, because if you only just watch the video and you don't apply, you're just gonna be watching some entertainment. And I don't want my clips to be entertainment. Maybe a small portion, like 10%, story that I'm telling you, but like 90% should be lessons that you can get. And that's what I want from you. I'm gonna give you 3 action points. I want you to look in my eyes right now, and I want you to promise me that you're gonna make sure that you apply these action steps right now after the clip. Because if you're not gonna do that, you're not gonna become great. I want you to become great all of the time. The first point is I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to believe and act like a 4.0 GPA student. Even if you're not already there, I want you to maybe ask ChatGPT or journal. You're gonna think like one before you are. Secondly, I want you to make a schedule and put your habits there. So like I said, 2-3 hour block of studying each single day. If you want morning routine, night routine, make sure you're gonna stick to it every single day, because I want you to compound consistency. And remember this, you got a 1 second rule. Use the 1 second rule. And the last thing, I want you to train yourself every single day. I want you to train yourself to study better, to become sharp, to give better answers. That's going to make you a 4.0 GPA student. And I want you to make sure that you train not only in school, but in your life. Everything that you do, see it as a training. How you think, how you act, what you say, everything should be treated like a training where you always seek improvement. And one last thing that I want to tell you is that you're not special, I'm not special, no one is special in this world. You know what's special about us? The action that we're doing. You are special because you watch this video. But if you stop learning, if you stop becoming better, if you stop doing the habits that brought you here, and you don't learn new habits that are going to bring you to the next level, guess what? You're not going to be anything. Habits and action make you someone. If you don't act, you disappear. If you don't improve, you stay the same and you go down. And remember, the next 7 members who join my program are going to get 1 month of coaching from me. So you're going to have access to me for your questions, and we're going to make sure that you get that 4.0 GPA in time. You become great, you become confident, and you are on a path to succeed in life forever. And as always, guys, don't forget, win your mornings and conquer your grades.